Part 17. Sidetracked. John was almost home. He'd waited an hour for Tom, then another hour, and another. It was 7 o'clock when he finally left the hospital grounds and started to head back. He'd managed to escape through the loading bay, but a group of undead had followed him out, preventing him from re-entering the building. With the main entrance being packed with undead, it would be suicidal to try and re-enter, as he did not know the layout of the hospital. John hit the call button on the door and was buzzed in. What was he going to say to everyone? How would he explain this to Skye? She'd started coming out of her shell lately, after she had lost her father in the last stand. No one had the heart to ask her about her mother. John climbed up the stairs. Toby met him at the top. They searched through the bag. Luckily there were some antibiotics in the bag, and Tom had not been carrying all of them. Toby did not seem to notice Tom's absence, probably thinking he was still downstairs, and rushed off to give the medicine to Jenna. John sat down at the top of the stairs, his long legs dangling over the edge. Jane appeared at the doorway and looked at him, but didn't come over. She was still scared of him. She looked like she wanted to ask, but instead walked away. Skye appeared, running out onto the landing, eyes wide and bright at seeing his return. "Where's Tom? I did my math stuff. He said he wanted to check it before I could watch a film." She stopped talking and looked around desperately, looking for any sign of Tom. Tears formed in her eyes. "Where is he?" she cried. John didn't know what to say to her. This is the second time she'd had her heart broken in less than a month. She sat down next to him and sobbed. Blood was everywhere on the bed, and on this guy, whoever he was, on the floor and me. I know sweet fuck all about medicine. 8 seasons of House and 7 seasons of Scrubs is the total of my medical knowledge. The guy was pale as the white sheets, the parts that were not covered in blood anyway. I looked in the wardrobe and found what I hoped were not this guy's best shirts, and ripped them into strips and tied them around the man's wrists. I was conflicted about what to do. I had seen the man we discovered in the flat had turned about being bitten. If this man died right now, then I'd be leaning over him, while he tried to take a chomp out of my chest. The bleeding seemed to have stopped, and there was still a pulse, so I was safe for now. I took the handcuffs out of my satchel and handcuffed the man to the headboard. I then proceeded to wander around the house. I was unable to find a mobile phone or a house phone to call home, but I did find a pack of biscuits, which I quickly tore through. I decided to sleep outside the room the man was in, not wanting him to possibly turn while I was still in there. I took a few cushions from the sofa and placed them outside the room to settle down for the night. I laid down and closed my eyes. My head was still throbbing, and I was still getting blurred vision occasionally. I don't think you're meant to fall asleep with possible concussion, but there was no doctor around here to lecture me otherwise. I drifted off, staring at the door. The mood in the flat was sombre. John had tried to call Tom's phone multiple times. No response. Skye had ran off to her room earlier, and all attempts to try and comfort her had failed. John, Jane, Lara, Toby, Ty had gathered around the living room with a bottle of vodka, attempting to drown out Tom's screamingly loud absence. Jenna was still asleep, but it seemed her condition was improving. Her fever had gone down, and she had woken up briefly for some water to take more antibiotics. "We go look for him," Toby said, finishing his vodka and slamming the glass down on the table. "A suicide. There's too many of them," John replied, not looking up from his glass. "Well, we can't sit here and do fuck all. He's out there somewhere. He will come looking for us. Hell, he went out looking for a dog." Toby jabbed his fingers in Duke's direction, who was curled up at Jane's feet. Lara spoke next. "I think we should look for him, but not now. We should wait till tomorrow." "No!" John stood up from the table, almost knocking the bottle over. "It's too dangerous. We go back, we get killed. If Tom's alive, he'll make it back. If not, then—" John's voice trailed off, everyone looking at him. He stormed out the room. He spent the night sitting outside Skye's door. Neither of them could sleep. She stared at the ceiling. He sat and drank. 2 days later. "Can I get one of those?" The voice scared the living hell out of me. I looked over to the bed. The man was awake. He still looked like crap, but alive at least. I threw him a cigarette and cautiously leaned over him to light it. "You thirsty? Hungry?" I asked. The man shook his head. "No food in the house, but a drink of water would be nice if we have it." I threw him my water bowl. He attempted to catch it with his cuffed hand. He looked shocked and turned to me. "Yeah, sorry about that. Can't be too careful," I said, moving over to uncuff him. I've seen people turn without getting bitten. Me too. There was a long pause. "I'm Tom. Jack." "So, Tom, what brings you to my humble abode?" I explained what had happened at the hospital, how I had broken in looking for a safe place to stay, only to discover him and spend the next 2 days trying to get him better. Don't know why he bothered. Me and you are probably the only 2 people left alive. "No, we're not." Jack's face was shocked. "That's why we were at the hospital. A friend of ours was hurt. We went looking for the medicine and got separated." A smash stopped the conversation, the sound of glass breaking. I looked at Jack. "Can you walk? Do you have a weapon?" He nodded he could walk, but did not have a weapon. "Okay, got 2 choices, dude. Wait here for certain death, and come with me and probable death." "Well, when you put it like that, I guess I'm coming with you," he said. Whilst wandering around the house, I had found the garage attached to the place, found the keys in the kitchen to the Vauxhall Astra. It had half a tank in it, and there was also a large amount of tools that were obviously part of Jack's trade. I'd piled them in, and a few other items, into the ancient Vauxhall. We headed downstairs. The sound was coming from the living room. I could hear voices. Shit. People not dead. We got to the garage, and I went to the door to pull it open as Jack started the engine. The door opened, and right on the other side were 3 men. The first one looked at me in shock, and so did I, but he recovered first. He punched me square in the face. My legs wobbled, and I tried to reach for my baton, but he delivered another punch to my stomach, and I dropped to my knees. "And where do you think you're going?" he said in a sneering voice. "You pissed off the boss man the other day, and he wanted word of you." I started to panic. Was he talking about Tooth? If he was, I don't think I would be surviving this little chat. I rolled back into the garage away from my attacker. I would not be able to get in the car quick enough before they pulled me out and kicked the crap out of me. Instead, I moved to a metalwork table. The first man laughed and he entered the garage. The other 2 moved up, blocking the exit. He got closer to me. Behind my back, I had been pulling the lid off a tin, unsure what the hell it was, but it was better than nothing. He grabbed hold of me and put his face right to mine. "Okay, I give up," I said. "Just don't hurt me." He laughed. "And why wouldn't I do that?" "Because I'm a really nice guy, and because, most of all, I asked nicely." He roared with laughter again. I took this opportunity to pull the tin round from behind my back, turn my head and spray half a tin of WD-40 in his face. He screamed, rubbing his eyes, letting me go, and dropped to his knees, and I put one of mine straight in his face. Jack took this opportunity to gun the engine and drive straight at the 2 guys on the door. They both dived for safety. I ran past them, jumped in the car, and we sped off. Jack was laughing. "That didn't seem very fair," he said. I laughed too, despite my aching head. "I don't believe in fair. I believe in winning. Take a left here." Jack laughed again, and we headed for home. Part 17. Homecoming. Coming soon.